Hello, everyone. Welcome to the stream today. I am live on YouTube and Twitch. As we wait for tonight's eviction, I figured let's talk. Oh, you know what? I didn't change my YouTube title. Survivor 49 cast reactions. I apologize if you saw me go live on YouTube and you saw Veto Watch Party. Because that is not what we're here for today. We are here today for the Survivor 49 cast to check it out. Take a look. Take a gander. And see what their pet peeves are all about. Primarily. Maybe watch the videos. I don't know if they'll ding me for watching their videos on stream. But we could maybe try. Honestly, if I watch the videos, it'll be more prep than I've done for a Survivor draft in years. So we'll see. Any wall comp update? That's a good question. I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything. Draft won't be for another few weeks, I think. Maybe another month, actually. So yeah, maybe if I watch the videos, I'll have been prepped now, but then forget about it. Typically, they announce that there's a wall comp. Typically, they announce that it's an endurance that the feeds will be on for earlier in the day. So I'm surprised we haven't heard anything yet. This is the same situation as last week, where we were expecting the wall comp, and then we didn't hear anything, and then just continued to go. How's Callus? He's doing well. He did get his teeth cleaned recently. And I always hate that. But he did a good job. Gary, thank you for the 16th. Trying to work harder to keep his teeth more regularly clean. Apparently he has bad teeth genetics. Ellie, thank you for the 23rd. Yeah, I mean, his favorite treats are the dental ones. I give him those every day. More Callus photos. I mean, there's plenty on my phone. They didn't announce it until 6 Eastern last year? Okay. So this, yeah, I mean, yeah, it is still only like 1 o'clock Pacific. What kind of walking pad do I have? I have an Ego Fit. I've personally not found it to be as durable as I would like. But they did send me a new one free of charge when I sent them evidence that the other one was kind of broken. So that's nice. And I like it as a in concept kind of thing. I think if I were to get one again, which I might at some point, I would want to get a manual treadmill. I just don't know how to find one that is small enough, portable enough, and not $1 billion. But that would be my next foray into this space, I think. Did I see that Boston Rob is the guest for Unlocked this week? Boston Rob doesn't watch Big Brother. Zach said on Twitter today that he was shocked to see the. I saw Zach's tweet. Yeah, he said, let me, where did I see that? Many in the house think he's America's favorite since he doesn't show that side to anyone. All I saw from him was this fun, happy-go-lucky guy. It's all very eye-opening now, he says. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, typically the house guests get out of the house and they're either kind of radio silent or a bit defensive of their cast members. Um, it's been interesting to see Jimmy and Zach so vocal. I would say relatively welcome considering that overall it's big enough things to be vocal on. Like sometimes it's like, oh, I get out and it turns out the audience hates my friends because they're rooting against them and I'm going to turn on them for that reason. But like, this is a pretty valid reason. You know what I mean? Like, I respect Zach's position on like, oh crap, I didn't realize Vince screwed me over so much, but still like the guy. You know, I think that's fair. Um, but yes, Survivor. That's what we're here for. We are here for Survivor. Let me see if I can get this. Something like this. Something like this. Yeah, look at that. Look at how prepared I am. So I've got this and I've got this video. Oh, perfect. As I said, I'm not sure that I'm actually like supposed to or like will actually be allowed to like watch the video on stream, but if they demonetize me, oh well, I guess I'll know for next time. Um, there is a thing. There's a thing on YouTube. If you if it detects content from your channel on another channel, it will notify you. So I get this a decent amount because there's like a couple channels that just re-upload my stuff. And you have the ability to just be like, take it down. Or you know, whatever, demonetize whatever it is. So they could probably do that to me if I watch this video, but we'll see. I mean, I'm honestly more interested in the pet peeves anyway. I did see that the Genius UK was canceled. I did just see that. Yeah. Not surprising. Not surprising. Listen, I'm happy for what it gave us because it sort of I always wanted to do that kind of content where I watched it, made that video on YouTube, popped off, did well, inspired the Patreon. Now we're crushing with Australian Survivor versus the World, OG Genius. Genie Suke will have a place in our hearts. Um, all right. So, Survivor 49. This is the cast. There's a decent amount of bio stuff here. There's also like hot takes. There's also like I saw this article from Mike Bloom. No, this is the same one. This one. I think this is just a single interview. Like, whoa. There's always so much for Survivor. Like Mike Bloom is a machine at Survivor at the Survivor preseason content. And then they always do the big podcasts with Rob and Mike. Genuinely like amazing stuff. Yeah, Big Brother compared to this is And Big Brother's once a year, and I would say more important to know more about the Big Brother players because you're gonna, be watching them for 100 days on live feeds. Survivor's twice a year. It's like so much stuff. It's generally why I keep it a little lower. But obviously, like just like with Big Brother, it's like the more, the better, because you get to choose how much investment you want. If you only want to see the bios, or if you only want to watch the like 2-minute videos on each person, you can do that. If you want to go super deep, you can do that. I used to do, I don't know how many of you were around for this, but back in the day, I used to do a little mini like show that we called First One Out, right? There was another name for it too, I think. That Josh Wigler did for the preseason stuff, and I edited it together, just a little mini series on like a whole sort of journey arc to go from like going to like wherever they were, meeting the players, interviewing them, all the way until the first person was voted out. Little story arcs. It was fun. Fun time. Nora, thank you for the 53rd. All right, so let's just like get a sense of what these videos are like. Let's see if there's anything worthwhile here. Let me see if I can make sure you can hear this.
I have a necklace that says boss on it that I wear every day, and I had to leave that at home. My company does running biomechanics analysis and physical therapy for runners.
Annie.
We're super successful. I got into music in my 40s. I bought a guitar and wrote my first song all with just one chord because that's all I could play. And so I made a YouTube video, and the first comment I got was from this woman talking about my clothes being too young for me. It was awful, and my heart was broken. And then I thought, wait a minute. Screw this lady, you know?
Your clothes are too young for you.
What anybody has to say about what we wear, who we love, none of it. You should be able to live your best life regardless of what the world wants to say. And so I decided
gonna ding just for the music,
lean into
I bet.
that whole idea and name the band Trashy Annie. Just say, screw it. You think I dress too young for me? Okay. I'm gonna get on stage in my tutu and my sparkly bra, and I'm gonna do exactly what I wanna do. And Survivor does the same thing. I think it gives an outlet for people of all walks of life, all shapes and sizes, all experience levels, to come together and try to do this crazy thing that none of us understand.
All right, that's Annie. She sounded chill. Maybe we should read the bios and then watch the video so that we get a preconceived notion first. Sammy, thank you for the 15th month. So this is Kimberly Annie Davis. She's 49, from Portland, currently in Austin. Wow, from Portland to Austin, huh? Musician, spontaneous risk taker, wrecking ball. Why do you want to be a part of Survivor? It's the true game of life. Unlike the dumb 80s game where getting married and having kids defines success. I mean, hey, Survivor 49, age 49, hey? What is one life experience that you feel has prepared you for the game? As an entrepreneur and CEO, I have had to learn how to separate business from emotion when making big decisions. In March of 2020, I had to lay off 28 of my 30 employees, who were also some of my closest friends. The company survived COVID and is alive today because of that decision. I mean, if you lose 28 of 30 employees, is the company really still alive? Which previous player do you identify with most? Who do you think you will play most like? I plan to play my game my own way, for better or worse. I identify with Kenzie and Jam Jam. So kind of a new era fan, seemingly. What will you value in an alliance partner? Trust has no place in Survivor. It is by nature a game of deceit. I want to align with someone who is strong in areas that I am weak. Kind of a nothing answer. Favorite hobbies? Not a hobby anymore, but writing music, performing with my band, Trashy Annie. Very lucky to have found music. Love my mountain biking multi-day. We're going to skip the pet peeve for now. What is something we could never know from looking at you? I have two. Growing up on food stamps and welfare and put myself through college on a trumpet scholarship after teaching myself to play. Getting my doctorates. Getting back into music. Signed to a label. Who is your biggest inspiration? Why? My husband Jonathan is a huge source of inspiration. He is a brilliant CEO and entrepreneur and an amazing CEO, entrepreneur. I've never quit anything in my life. Don't intend to start now. Okay. Off of bio alone, I would have been a little skeptical. I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, mostly because of her whole CEO stuff. Man, having to fire my employees was real tough for me. But it was a smart decision and I grew from it. Like, I'm not saying it's not necessarily true. It's just kind of a weird thing to bring up unasked. You know what I mean? And then I felt like the accomplishments, just like all of the listed awards. I get people do this all the time. It's sometimes necessary, but it always just makes me feel a little weird when people list all the awards and all of the accolades and stuff that they've gotten. All right. Pet peeves. Dumb people. So not a Big Brother 27 fan. Okay. Leaf blowers. Bring back the rake. Okay. Okay. This is big. We hate leaf blowers. This is very big. What is some sorry. I went on to read the next question. Biscuit cans. Do they have to be so scary to open? I'm sorry. What is a biscuit can? Is it the can that you open that has like bakeable biscuits in it? Huh. I mean, I know of them. I've never really used them. Biscuit can pop. Freaking TikTok and its weirdness. Oh, that seems kind of fun. Biscuit cans. All right, you know what? I can't say I necessarily agree with the biscuit can, but I appreciate its specificity. Leaf blowers, definitely generic, but very solid. Dumb people. Here's the problem with dumb people as a pet peeve. Different people have different definitions of dumb people. As an example, if somebody like Riley said, I hate dumb people, I'd be like, he probably means me. So, hard to judge dumb people. All right. Okay. Interesting opening. Listen, I like that we got an actual set of pet peeves there. Solid opening for sure. I would say I liked her video a lot more than I liked her bio. She seemed very personable in her video. Who's next in the video? Alex Moore. 27 years old. From Evanston, currently in DC. Political comms director, so he's like a Jimmy. Empathetic, resilient, spontaneous. Okay, hold on. They always do the 3 words to describe you. I think I've done this. What would be 3 words to describe me? If I had to answer this question, what 3 words would I use? I don't see feeds back. I still see pets. Maybe I'm behind. Oh, there they are. Why is Vinny crying?
It was meant to happen that way, and God only knows why. Okay? That's it. That's the only option.
But if it does happen, I just don't know. That's the only scenario that I am so...
Then go with your gut and let...
Go with your gut and let God do the rest. Oh, we're gonna have to put up with this today. I'm just being forced to vote out my closest ally when I could decide not to. It just sucks, you know? All right. No use getting distracted. I don't think there's anything particularly interesting going on there. Back to Alex. Oh, right. I was going to do 3 words. I don't really know, to be honest. This is the whole point. I'd be kind of annoyed by the question. 3 words to describe me. I keep cutting out. It says I have an excellent connection. It's the YouTube chat that seems to be having an issue. Good now. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if I was being serious, yeah, sure, I could probably say analytical. Hold on, now I go. She can't protect me. Riley can protect me. All right, I don't need to listen to this. I feel like if I had to answer this question, I would say something along the lines of 3 words to describe me. I would take too long. I would try to come up with something clever where I use the 3 words to describe how I didn't like the question. Anyway, I would certainly not say empathetic, resilient, and spontaneous. Why do you want to be part of Survivor? On top of the fact that I grew up watching with my family, I was part of a Survivor club in high school. Oh boy. I feel like it is time to put myself first. Yikes. I've watched enough of these shows to feel like that's a bit of a red flag statement. Whether it be professionally or in my life, I always prioritize the needs of those around me. It's time to be selfish. I gotta be selfish for the first time in my life. This is a game for $1 million. No better place or stakes to improve on putting my needs first. Yes, this is Alex. What's one life experience that's prepared for the game? When I was 23, he is currently 27. I was promoted to communications director after 1 year, became one of the youngest communication directors ever on Capitol Hill. Quickly learn what information to share, what to withhold, how to frame messaging in the most clear, concise, beneficial way possible. Survivor is identical to the world of politics. Not sure that's true. What previous player do you identify with most? I identify most with Yul Kwan. During Cook Islands, he played the game like a diplomat. Who do you think you will play most like? I think I'll play most like Sam. There's many different sides to him and was able to get along with just about everyone in his friendly nature. Didn't even mention being a glue guy. What will you value in an alliance partner? Someone who is in the know and a good listener. What good are you to me if you aren't getting any tea? My ideal alliance partner would be someone who's good at sleuthing. He'll put private investigators to shame. So good at the sleuthing. Favorite hobbies? Summer softball games near the monuments in DC. What is something somebody would never know from looking at you? Almost every Sunday, I enthusiastically purchase and eat grocery sushi for dinner. Sushi snobs like to talk so much smack about my low-cost sushi Sundays, but little do they know you can't even taste the difference from expensive restaurant sushi. Interesting. Who's your biggest inspiration and why? Parents are my biggest inspiration. Never let haters get in their way. As an interracial couple, in the 80s, they faced a lot of backlash. I was like, the haters? Oh, he means racists. Family members even said their relationship wouldn't last. 40 years later, they are still going strong. Others are always going to act like they know what is best for you, but you can never let these outside opinions shape who you are. Haters are always going to hate. Why will he be the sole survivor? Beyond being the glue guy. Okay, you did mention the glue guy. I'm going to be someone my teammates can't live without. Not only am I going to have close individual connections with my fellow players, I'm going to be putting a smile on their face, blah, blah, blah. All right. Okay. Pet peeves first or then video? Or first video? I think pet peeves. Pet peeves. Blocking a grocery store aisle with your cart. Okay. Are we talking leaving your cart there? Are we talking abandoning the cart entirely? Are we talking I'm going down the aisle, I'm picking some stuff out, and I have improperly placed my cart to block more of the aisle? All of these are different levels of pet peeve, but all of them are pretty good. Second, when people would rather Uber than walk 10 minutes. Why is that a problem for you, though? That's my thing. Are you experiencing a lot of this where it's like, I want to just walk 10 minutes, but my friends are like, no, we must Uber? And then you don't get to walk? I mean, you could just walk. It's 10 minutes. Let them Uber. Why is that a problem for you? Also, what's the weather like? Is it freezing out? That makes a difference. Is it raining? I don't know. I feel like if I were hanging out with Alex and I was like, man, I'm exhausted. It's 3 a.m. and I'm freezing and I'm tired and I just want to get back to the hotel. And he's like, it's a 10-minute out. Now listen, this is the problem because I am also a walker. But I'm imagining it's freezing rain outside. And I'm like, man, not really feeling the walk right now. And he was like, okay, fine. pet peeve of mine, but you do you. I'd be like, whoa, dude, chill. Final pet peeve, people with no self-awareness. If this were QI, I'd sound the klaxon. It's a very common one. And I would say often comes from somebody that doesn't have a lot of self-awareness. But you know, this is the same thing as dumb people. It's like, what do you mean by this? Who qualifies as self-awareness to you? You know? Okay. Once again, not the best bio impression, but let's see what the video is like. Oh, hold on. You're not hearing this.
I wear a suit to work every day. How much better could it get than this? I grew up a pretty privileged life. My parents didn't have it as easy. They were an interracial couple in the 80s when really that wasn't the most popular thing at the time. Their family members didn't even attend my parents' wedding. I moved to Washington, D.C. the day after I graduated college, and I got to work. When I told my office that I was coming, I was like, they're gonna make me quit right now on the spot. My boss could not be more excited. She said, you're gonna go,
great smile.
You're gonna win, and she's obsessed with my dating life. She said, you're gonna find a wife too. I think a Survivor auction is an iconic event that I have to make it to because I have to prove the margarita curse wrong. Anyone who drinks a margarita goes home the next night. That's not going to happen with me. I love my happy hours in DC.
That's such a strange thing to want to do on the show.
I'm going to drink it down and then be sure to win the game after that.
He seems charismatic. He seems very friendly. So hold on. Vince is talking to Rachel.
I know it is.
Listen, I'm sorry. Even Survivor streams are a little bit big brothery sometimes. I'm going to keep checking in with you throughout the day. All right, wait, listen, we know exactly what's going on here. All right. I think I would say so far. Hold on, let me take some notes. Survivor 49 cast. Pet peeves ranking. We're going Annie #1 right now, with her best pet peeves being leaf blowers, followed by Alex, whose best pet peeve was shopping carts. All right, next up, Jake Latimer. 36 years old, a correctional officer. He is respectful, selfless, and loving. This just feels like 3 words that Riley would describe himself as. Show's been a staple in my family since I was a kid. Always been a dream of mine. Moving to Australia at 18 years of age, having to figure it out on my own. He identifies most with Joe. He's been watching since he was a kid. And it just so happens that the player he identifies most with is Joe from last season. Okay. They are both in law enforcement. They don't change their core values for a better shot in the game. Oh boy. I want my alliance partner to have strong family ties, respect for others, a true wholesome demeanor, and strong core. Are you talking about your partner in life or your alliance partner? Strong family ties? Ooh. You don't have a great relationship with your parents? I don't know if I'm going to be in alliance with you. Golf, take my dog for walks, coaching Special Olympics. Heavily involved with coaching Special Olympics, good volunteer position. I'm a big, soft teddy bear. I cry during most movies. My father, Ken, is his biggest inspiration. Put my family first. Has a medical condition called glaucoma. 2 motivations. Have my first child born while I'm on the show. What? Why will you be the sole survivor? 2 motivations. Have my first child born while I'm on the show. Will be the last season of Survivor my dad will be able to see. Is he saying that he currently has a child that is about to be born? Am I misreading that? Or is that just a goal of his? Okay. Pet peeves. People being late. Fair but boring. People thinking they're better than other people. People thinking they're better than other people. Strong family ties, respect for other people that think they're better than others. Okay. Let's watch the video.
My spirit animal are panda bears.
Oh, no,
they're
wait.
big and they're fluffy, but they have...
This is not the right person.
2 weeks ago, I was sitting on my couch watching Survivor with a cold beer in my hand, 4 feet of snow outside, -20, and now I'm sitting in Fiji.
What is that?
I grew up in a place called Regina, Saskatchewan, and
With the shirt? Really?
moved to Australia just out of high school. I went there to play professional ice hockey. Did that for a year, got injured a couple times, had to shut that down. Ended up touring around with a male review show. Got to dance for thousands of women every single night, and yeah, terrible job though, terrible. Not fun at all. I married an Australian girl, brought her back to Canada, and that's where I live currently. Before I applied for Survivor, we were trying to get pregnant, 4.5 years of trying for that. Finally gave up, I applied for the show, and during the application process, we got pregnant. I gave her the option to bow out to be there. She said, no, you gotta go and bring that money home and we'll have a family waiting for you. Now the sad thing about this is my dad has a medical condition right now called glaucoma, and his doctors gave him to the end of this year until he loses eyesight permanently, so season 49 will be the last season
that's
that
what he
gets to
meant
see,
by
and his son's gonna be on
watch.
it. I have a lot in my back pocket here that I'm playing for. If I'm feeling down in the dumps or if I'm feeling vulnerable at the time, I just gotta think of what's waiting for me back at home.
So they're trying to make another Joe, which obviously is why he's like, oh, I'm like Joe. I mean, as per usual, seems like a fine dude in the video. Wait, Ava said she is going to keep Morgan? That wasn't what I was hearing. Hold on, I'm gonna have to listen to this thing.
Puts us in a right position.
I mean, the whole thing for me is that, like, even if they do get Ava and Vince, do they even have Mickey? All right, back to Survivor. Back to Survivor. So far this is an easy one. We're putting Jake, I almost called him Joe. He's in last place right now. His best pet peeve is people being late. All right, who's next in the video? This was Jeremiah. I don't know what order they got going on over here, but it's all over the place. Here we go. 39 years old. Another Canadian. Impulsive, loyal, sincere, adventure of a lifetime. Watched Survivor for 24 years. Manifestation is real. Worked in the fashion and beauty industry for 12 years. Made a career change to start working in the financial industry. Identifies most with Ty because he brought his true, authentic self to the game and had morals. Ty? What kind of morals are we talking about? Ty was a pretty cutthroat player. Who do you think you'll play most like? I'll play most like Jam Jam. Someone who can help me forget how dirty and hungry I am is one who he would align with. Hobbies, astrology, tarot cards. Always rooting for the underdog. Biggest inspiration, Elle Woods from Legally Blonde. She was underestimated because she loves pink and has blonde hair. I'm a karate kid and no one will see me coming. Okay, okay. Pet peeves. Half glass empty mindset. Negativity. That's pretty closely related, I would say. People who can't laugh at themselves. People who only talk about themselves. Pretty lame. Pretty lame pet peeves. He's got a couple of people who's. He's got negativity as one of them. What does that mean? You know, what is that? What is a negativity? Okay. Half glass empty mindset. That just feels annoying. That just feels, oh, you're not optimistic enough. Sorry. Sometimes I'm not optimistic. Is it worse or better than people who are late? Wait, what was it exactly? People being late. I've got to give this one to Jake. Jake said people being late, not people who are late. Whereas Jeremiah said people who can't laugh at themselves, people who only talk, meaning he fails the semantic check. Jeremiah, last place. Negativity. All right, let's check out the video though.
My spirit animal are panda bears. They're big and they're fluffy, but they have really sharp teeth and claws, and you would never expect that.
I saw
come from
some
Windsor,
pandas the
Ontario.
other
It's a
day.
very blue-collar city with GM, Chrysler, and Ford plants. And there weren't a lot of gay kids. There weren't a lot of Asian kids. I felt isolated, but I come from a very loving family who supported me my entire life. I grew up watching Survivor. My dad introduced me to the show when I was 14, season 2. It was something that we always watched together. We always disagreed on who we liked. He always liked the brawn, the strong male, and I always loved an underdog female. My mom doesn't know that I'm here. I want my mom to be watching Survivor and seeing me come up in the credits. She will love it so much. I'm a really big
Seeing
fan
me come
of
up in the
astrology.
credits?
It's how I'm
Is
able
that the
to
first time
understand
she'll see you
people,
in
how
the
to
credits?
adapt to them. I want to be the first male Taurus to ever win Survivor.
It seems fun enough. All right, we're getting Will involved.
But she doesn't divulge information to me because she just put me on the block last week.
He's just still blaming Ava. He's just filibustering. All right. Next up. Hold on, let me.
I'm sorry, I'm sweating so much. This is day 0 and I smell horrible. I'm from a small town in New Jersey. I grew up.
We're not gonna
in a
say your
single-parent house.
name. I just want to know how to pronounce it. Jawan? Jawan or Jaywan would be my guess. 28 years old. LA, video editor. Friendly, fearless, formless. All right. All right. We did something. Grew up watching it. One of those kids raised in front of the TV screen. I got you there. Best life experience to prepare for the game was moving to LA with only $4,000. Leap of faith. I identify with Sean Rector. True fan. A man of faith, often felt out of water, didn't stop him from caring for people. I'll play like Jesse, social cunning, strategically playing hard for his family. He wants predictability and creativity. Those are kind of opposing forces, I would say, but fair enough. Someone you can trust. Have fun while doing it. Loves horror movies, video games, tacos. Nice. His hometown is right next to a power plant. Grandma, biggest inspiration. Soul survivor because I'm the perfect blend of book smart and street smart. Student of the game, importantly, not afraid to take risks. Pet peeves. Crunchy peanut butter. Fair. But why is it annoying? Is it like, are you getting served crunchy peanut butter a lot? I need more details. Are you just annoyed that crunchy peanut butter exists? Or are you more so like, oh man, I keep getting served crunchy peanut butter at people's houses. And I'm like, damn, this is crunchy. I'm not into this. Because then I'd be like getting served crunchy peanut butter and thinking it's creamy peanut butter. I could see like that being annoying. But the mere existence of crunchy peanut butter, are we talking about like just the fact that it exists triggers you? The thought of crunching into peanut butter makes you feel, ooh. I need more details. Oh, hold on. If you eat that around me, we can't be friends. Okay. More details. So it's not him eating the crunchy peanut butter. It is he does not enjoy the presence of crunchy peanut butter around him. I like this pet peeve. This is the right amount of petty. Oh, somebody's eating crunchy peanut butter. Oh, this is so annoying. This is such a pet peeve of mine. Yes. Thank you. People who talk loudly in a movie theater. All right, we're people whoing again. Though, to be fair, who are those people? Crunchy peanut butter is definitely going to put him... is it better than leaf blowers? Dumb people, leaf blowers, biscuit cans. Leaf blowers / biscuit cans. That's a tough one. He gave more detail, but he has fewer options to choose from. Still, I think we're putting Jawan number 1 right now. Crunchy peanut butter. Solely for the explanation. All right, who's next in the video? Oh, well, I guess we'll watch him.
Oldest of 5 kids, spent a lot of time at home babysitting those knuckleheads. But, you know, when I was home with them, I was watching Survivor. Ever since I was 13 years old, I'm like, one day I'm gonna be out there. I went to school for video production, and that was my ticket out of my small town. I feel like a lot of other, you know, black men that look like me, they had to be good at football or basketball. I can't do that, so I've been in LA for the last 4 years doing video editing. Ever since I've been doing well in LA, my siblings have been like, oh, I want to go to college. I want to get out too, and it's just beautiful. I feel like I'm living proof that, like, you know, you should never give up, because this is crazy.
What a sweet guy. I like him. I liked his bio. First bio I've liked. And I really liked his video as well. And he also has the top pet peeve spot so far. Look at that. 28 years old. All right, next video is Jason. Who's up here, I think. Yeah, Jason, 32 years old, from Santa Ana. Law clerk. Scrappy, family first. Ooh, he's pushing boundaries with that. Brainiac. Calls himself a brainiac, okay? I want to test my limits physically, emotionally, and psychologically. I've spent so much of my life unprepared and unfettered to try new and challenging things. I love to bite off more than I can chew, and I can usually end up chewing it. I'm scared, but that's also what makes me excited. What's one life experience you feel has prepared you for the game? Landing a job as a Google software engineer with no background or experience by self-studying during lunches and commutes at my customer support job. Then leaving Google to follow my dreams in the law. Dream big, try bigger, and the rest will follow. Identifies most with Kenny from Gabon, my Super Smash Bros. Hero, and got him into Big Brother. Or sorry, into Survivor. We're both gamers. I feel like I'd play like Rachel from 47. We'll watch the Blockbuster video later. Probably before the episode. Controlled, subtle, but still able to hit the turbo across the finish. Different perspectives and prioritizing the alliance for alliance partners. Someone who's honest. When a move helps individually but hurts the alliance. Favorite hobbies, video games, rollerblading, Dance Dance Revolution, video games again, acoustic guitar, Panda Express, and video games again. What's something you'd never know? I'm an incredibly aggressive LA driver, and I can sniff out weakness when making lane changes. LA traffic excites me. It's how I power trip. So I do hate him. Biggest inspiration, RBG. She was incredibly brilliant, fought for what she believed in. Soul Survivor, I'm just a small little guy. People underestimate me. I'm good at adapting. All right, pet peeves. People who are afraid to be wrong or look silly. People who own your mistakes. I believe showing weakness is strength. Here's the thing. That's fair. I think that's fair. But he is people hooing. And I also don't think it's a pet peeve. I'm sorry, that's just not a pet peeve. That's like a philosophy on life. It's not better than shopping carts, but I will say it's better than being late. I'll put him there. 4th place right now. Being wrong. No. Afraid of being wrong.
My mom, she doesn't even watch Survivor. She brought me a suitcase full of coconuts one day, and she's like, well, if you're gonna eat coconuts out there, like, you need to practice opening these. I grew up in Southern California. I'm like a son of Vietnamese immigrants. I am the first person in my family to go to college. I got into UCLA and I studied physics and math. You can't really go through life full ride scholarship valedictorian of your class without being a little smart. So humble I try to be, but there's evidence that I may be smart. I'm not physical. I think I just have little guy energy, where
Little guy
I'm just
energy.
smiley and goofy and I'm willing to be vulnerable. I think that I have what it takes because I am scared. I live in fear constantly. I'm like afraid right now. And I think that in Survivor, you're gonna be put in a lot of different scary situations. And because I'm scared all the time, I live in fear. All I can do is like muscle my way out.
He's kind of saying he's like the Hulk. You know, he's just kind of scared all the time. That's his superpower. Okay. Fair enough. Next person, next video is Christina. Wow, it's been a lot of guys in a row, huh? Christina, 36 years old, Oklahoma. NBA career coach. Huh? NBA career coach. What does that person do? Like, what's specific to the NBA part of it? Business? But why is it NBA? Oh, just specific. Oh, like at the college? That makes more sense. Adaptable, loyal, random. We got a random in the year 2025. When season 45 aired, I wasn't in a good place, dealing with postpartum depression. Caleb's story brought a smile to my face. Want my kids to see that spirit. What's a life experience? Being a mom to Irish twins, 10 months apart. I didn't know that was what it was called. Irish twins. Maybe you shouldn't Google that. Born less than 12 months apart. So just like shooting those kids out. That's what it means. I have to be on and show up. Kids don't care if you have a stomach bug. They want their bedtime story read with enthusiasm. Previous player, I'm convinced I'm Suri 2.0. Like Suri, I'm playing the game at 35, even though it says 36. Have young kids. Love my comfortable couch. Never been camping. Rachel and I have a lot of similarities, but ultimately I'd play like Carson. A strange set of people to say you'd play like. Want somebody that will understand each other. Good with details. Cycling and boxing group fitness classes. Chasing roller coasters. Traveling with my husband. Brunch with the girls. Broadway star in my past life. The love for it made it to this life, but the talent didn't. I can't tell what she means. Does she? So was she actually doing Broadway? No, of course not. She just says she likes it. My husband and best friend Richie inspires me to be my best self. He immigrated from Ghana in middle school. Sickle cell. But never wavered from having a Mamba mentality. Great at building genuine relationships. People get protective of me after one conversation. That's an interesting thing to say. I'll be a secret keeper. Use this information strategically. All right, pet peeves. Bullies. I'm a non-confrontational person, but if someone is getting bullied, I'll step in. It's not a pet peeve. I otherwise kind of like the bio, but it's a bad pet peeve. I'm still going to put it above being late and negativity. I'm going to put it below Jason's being wrong, though, or afraid of being wrong. Bullies.
My husband is very supportive of me being out here. He was like, do what you need to do. But he told me, do not come back without the money.
The pause before without the money got me. Do you know what I'm saying?
But he told me, do not come back without the money.
Do not come back without the money. What? You don't pause there.
If you didn't know, Oklahoma is the only state where every single county is red, and I am a black liberal that is not red at all, so I can
you're
deal
wearing
with
red.
literally any type of person. My husband is my college sweetheart. He's my bestie. He's actually the one who started me watching Survivor. And then we have 2 kids. The past 5 years
they're
have
cute.
been kind of crazy. I dealt with my mom having an addiction, and she died from a fentanyl overdose. And I was in a really dark spot through all of that. And then I saw season 45. It felt like it's time to kind of close that chapter and reclaim my life. And it was like the first time that I watched Survivor where Uncle Jeffrey said, apply now. And I was like, oh, I guess you're talking to me. Usually I ignored him. They always say trust your gut. And it was just like a gut thing, like it's time to apply.
She's a good storyteller. To encapsulate that in a short little narrative, obviously it's what they're all doing to get on the show in the first place, but she's a fairly compelling storyteller as well. I think that bodes well for her in the game. But we'll see. Who's next? Who's next? It is Michelle. MC. MC, 29 years old, San Diegan. All right. This is the thing. Every time there's a player on one of these shows and they're from San Diego, I have to vet them. Here we go. Competitive, high energy. All right, already pushing boundaries. Already pushing boundaries with the three words. Goofy. Survivor's epic. $1 million doesn't hurt. Working in sales, I've had to learn. She's a fitness trainer. I've had to learn what the right thing to say, who the right person to say it is. Say it too. Identify with Tiff the most. Hopes play like D, so she's a newcomer seemingly. Open mind to hear different perspectives. I have way too many hobbies, but to name a few: working out, pickleball, hiking, gaming, roller skating. Yeah, she sounds like she's from San Diego. Season 47 was the first season I ever watched. There we go. Quickly became such binge-watched half the seasons, and now here I am. I bet you she didn't watch half of them. Biggest inspiration, my sister. Most intelligent person I know. Amazing mother, hard worker. I've got the social charm to be everyone's best friend and outwit. I've got the athleticism to crush, mental endurance to outlast. All right, hold on.
It is what it is, because...
Vinny. Because what, Vinny?
You know, you had a hard decision last week.
Why are you crying to Morgan about how this is a hard decision? What is he doing? There are people that are going to try to convince you that Vince is a mastermind. Don't listen to those people. All right, pet peeves. Not feeling heard or being talked over / interrupted. Fair. Also, bullies / rude people. Bullies are whack. Okay. First of all, it's definitely better than the previous bullies. Because she says bullies are whack, which is a great way of saying it. Also, she included something that's closer to a pet peeve, which is not feeling heard or being talked over / interrupted. That is, again, pushing it with pet peeve, but definitely closer. It's definitely better than afraid of being wrong. Is it better than shopping carts? The answer is no. But I will put her in the new 4th place. MC. Interrupted / bullies are whack.
I put people off at first. They think I'm gonna be like a mean girl or standoffish.
Yikes.
I feel like I need to remember to smile so I don't have RBF.
Somebody tells you that they often put people off at first. That's a bad sign for a game like Survivor.
I'd never watched a single episode before season 47. I am a new Survivor fan. I'm not gonna tell anyone that though. I grew
She's
up
also
in
new.
Texas.
I love how on Survivor you're hiding the fact that you're not a fan.
Nigerian. My parents migrated over here. Nigerian parents, they want you to be a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, and I didn't do any of those. I moved to California. I didn't know a single soul. I didn't even really have a job lined up. I'm like, okay, look, I can do something different.
What does didn't really have a job lined up mean?
So that's what I'm excited to show them. I think I have what it takes to win the million because I thrive off my own energy. I do boot camps 5 a.m. in the morning. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink energy drinks. I don't know, fake it till I make it. Like I get loud, I start jumping, and then all of a sudden you start feeling it.
Interesting. Next is Matt. Matt Williams, 52 years old, from Utah. Airport ramp agent. Confident, curious, and spontaneous. 26 days in Fiji would be nice. $1 million would be nice. If you have a burning desire to cling to a telephone pole in your underwear on national television. He's a jokester. He likes dad jokes. Does my childhood count as an experience? Is a great answer to this question. I actually dig that. I identify most with Joe. Oh, he's joking. He's such a jokester. He's a true gentleman, chiseled like a Roman god. We have a lot in common. All right, fees cut back to pets. I would hope to play the game like Kenzie. She was so likable. He seems like a new fan as well. Oh yeah, they are back. They're not fully cut yet. Hope to align with people smarter than me. Fishing, hiking, traveling. Man, I'm seeing a lot of short pet peeves that I'm skipping over. Love to cook. He wants to buy the sanctuary. His biggest inspiration, his wife, Chrissy. She had to work as a hospice nurse. Her empathy dials turned all the way to 11. My life coach and best friend taught me how to evolve. Prepared, disciplined, adaptable. All right, what are your pet peeves? I got high hopes for you, jokester. I'm going to need something good. Listening to someone incorporate texting shorthand into a verbal conversation. OMG, LOL. Thank you, sir. That is a pet peeve. That is a pet peeve, and it's not even people who. It is the experience of listening to someone incorporate texting shorthand into a verbal conversation. It is perfectly descriptive. It is perfectly pet peevey. So the question is he the new top pet peever? Let's take a look at Jawan again. Crunchy peanut butter. If you eat that around me, we can't be friends. People who talk loudly in a movie theater. Ooh, that's strong. But he does people who here. But he at least gives me 2, whereas Matt is only giving me 1. I think I have to go. This is serious business, guys. I've made my verdict. Matt is the new number 1. Texting shorthand. Jawan never explained to me what it is about crunchy peanut butter that makes him so upset. Matt gave me examples.
Every time I go outside, somebody compliments my hair. And it's just like, I think this look just makes me a lot more approachable.
He is
I grew up
exactly
in
what I thought he was.
Little kid, everyone wanted to be an
Based on his bio.
astronaut or a fireman. I wanted to be
And
a
photo.
stockbroker. I followed it, and by the time I could legally buy beer, I was a Series 7 registered broker. I got to a point that I realized that's not really the trajectory I wanted to spend the next 70 years of my life on. And I shifted gears, and today I throw bags at the airport. I think I'm gonna do really well in the physical challenges. You go throw bags at the airport for 10 years, it builds a inner core strength, And then just with my age, no matter how good I
don't know. Maybe
eat
you
and
shouldn't be
how
throwing
often
them
I
so
hit the
hard.
gym,
Maybe you should be a
you
little more
start
careful
to
with people's
kinda look
bags.
like
I don't know.
this. Yeah, I'm a bit of a Trojan horse. They're not gonna see me coming.
All right, Nicole. Nicole is next. 26 years old, Philadelphia, financial crime consultant. Jovial, quick-witted. Another boundary pusher, adaptable. She wants to contribute to the legacy and for the love of the game for Survivor, about having fun, playing a game like you're a kid again. One experience was moving from New York to Ohio right before high school. Previous player you identify with most. Parv, Sari, Rachel, Omer. Smart, charming, manipulative, emotionally intelligent. Identifies most with Jam Jam, though. Total social weapon. 100% accuracy in identifying those coming after him and voting them off before he was. Wants somebody who can serve as a soundboard, to laugh with, pickleball with friends, whining and dining, Phillies games. Wouldn't know that her family and her missed New York bagels so much when they moved to Ohio that they opened a New York-inspired bagel deli. I mean, does that even work? You don't have the water. You know? Worked there in high school, second home. They shipped the water. I was gonna joke that they shipped the water. I was gonna say, did they ship the water? And I didn't make the joke because I didn't think it was funny enough. All right. Fair enough. New York inspired bagel deli. Who's your biggest inspiration? My mother. Soul Survivor. I'm competitive as hell. A doer. I know the game. All right. Pet peeves. Bad company. Boo. The West Coast. A bagel that goes untoasted. And entitlement. It's bad form. Okay. Bad company, boo, feels judgy. Because she's not describing what makes you bad company. That is the whole point of a pet peeve, is that you are describing, for instance, Jawan would probably describe bad company as crunchy peanut butter eaters. Boom. Now I know exactly what you're talking about. You just say bad company. What does that mean? Then she says the West Coast. Again, what part about the West Coast? Is it the, weather, the people, the politics? Are you like one of those people that's like, oh, California sucks? Like, I don't know. You can't just say West Coast. I'm gonna think you're from Texas or something. And then entitlement. Also, what are we doing? I don't know what that means. What do you mean by entitlement? What specifics? Give me specifics. Now, one thing I will say. She's got a gem in here. A bagel that goes untoasted. And not just any bagel, a bagel with a capitalized B. A bagel that goes untoasted. Now that's a pet peeve. Don't go untoasting my bagel. Don't go under toasting my bagel. But it's surrounded by bad ones. It's not better than shopping carts because of its surroundings, but it is strong enough to beat the non-pet peeves. We're going to go Nicole. Untoasted bagels. 5th place.
There's like a lot of straight people here. So I think like adjusting to like being around a man with a 6-pack is a lot for me.
Also, what is a financial crime
I was born
consultant?
in Long Island, New York.
Does she work for law enforcement, or is she like...
And right before high school started, we actually moved to the middle of nowhere, Ohio. We miss bagel shop.
Like if she had a TV show, would she be like the mentalist that helps with cases? You know what I mean?
So much that my dad was like, let's just open a bagel deli. And then we all worked there. It was like the best thing ever because it made us so insular. I started watching Survivor in high school. It was season 28, Cagayan, that got us hooked. I can see Wu stealing Spencer's note right now and being like, through the jungle. The show has kind of evolved as I've evolved into adulthood. I watched it in high school with my family, and then when I moved away to New York after college, and now in Philly with my girlfriend. It's like our Wednesday night activity. Survivor right now is the perfect way to just lean into being a kid. And I need that right now. I want that right now. Because I am a kid, and it's my favorite thing to be. And I don't ever want to grow up. Ever.
I think she's going to be fun. I think she's going to be fun to watch. All right, next. Nate. Nate Moore, 47 years old, from Hermosa Beach. A film producer, joyful, intelligent, crafty. Wants to play Survivor. It's a way to test your limits. Looks like a blast to play. Watched since season 1 in the basement of a frat house. What's one life experience that you've had that has prepared you for the game? Worked on a number of film sets. Used to trying to build consensus on what we need to achieve. I don't think working on film sets is going to prepare you for Survivor, but that's fine. Which previous player do you identify with most? Earl Cole. Okay. True fan. An alliance member, someone who's loyal, good at deception, but takes no pleasure in deceiving. Game requires lying, but you don't have to be sociopaths about it. Fair enough. Watching movies, running, playing basketball, tennis, watching live music, traveling, playing. That's a set of hobbies. That's for sure. Loves hard rock music. Can still get down in a mosh pit. All right. Okay. His biggest inspiration is being a father to 2 beautiful daughters, a good husband to my wife. Family's more important than any external accomplishment. I like that answer as well. He'll be the sole survivor because he doesn't seem like a big threat. He's old, likes to laugh, genuinely likes people. All right. I like this bio. I feel like this is a solid bio. Seems like a chill dude. Pet peeves. People who manage up and treat those in lower status in a given situation poorly. People who manage up and treat those in lower status in a given situation poorly. I think I get what he's trying to say, but it feels strangely worded. I don't get what manage up means. People who manage up. I mean, we get what he's saying, right? Like, people who treat those who they deem to be of lower status. I just don't get what manage up means. Also, it's not a great pet peeve. People who avoid confrontation. It's also not good. Swifties. Just kidding. This is a bad list. Two people whose that are both very generic. And then he goes for something. He goes for Swifties. But then just kidding's it. Come on. Come on. What are we doing? Just kidding? Did somebody hold a gun to your head? You didn't need to write Swifties. Just kidding. It's this like, oh, I'm going to be persecuted for this pet peeve, but he hasn't even been persecuted yet. I'm going to say this. As somebody who is not a Swiftie, I personally hear more about how dangerous it is to not be a Swiftie than any amount of actual backlash to non-Swifties. This is my experience. This is my lived experience. I've never actually seen Swifties get mad at non-Swifties. In fact, I feel like I've seen much the opposite. I've seen a lot of anti-Swifties being mad at Swifties. And listen, I'm sure it exists. I know how fan bases work. But I think the sentiment that you can't be anti-Swiftie is actually bigger than the actual anti-Swiftie. That is my lived experience. Anyway, bad pet peeves. Nate. Is it worse than Jeremiah? No. Is it worse than Jake? No. Christina with bullies? Yeah, it's worse than Christina with bullies. Nate below Christina. Swifties. I like his bio, though.
I actually learned how to swim because I knew if one day I'd got on Survivor, I didn't want to be the black guy who couldn't swim. I grew up in a town called Clovis, California. I'm the youngest of 4, and I had a single mom. I loved 2 things, movies and comic books. Moved to Los Angeles when I was 18. I started working in film, which culminated in producing movies such as Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and Civil War, the Black Panther movie, and the sequel for Marvel Studios. I think Survivor is a game built for
Those are
T'Challa,
good
for the
Marvel
Black Panther.
movies.
He's physically capable, he's intellectually incredibly smart, he's kind to people, but also knows that there's a greater good that needs to be served. I know there's not a lot of
Maybe
older
he only
people in
named
this
the
game,
good
so there's not a
ones.
lot of people who are leaving behind children like I'm leaving behind, and a wife that I love. And that stuff is tough. My youngest daughter said to me before I left, she said, I hope you don't make the merge so you can come home early.
That makes me sad. I do think I like him, though. All right, next up, the Riz God. It's Rizzo, 25 years old, from Yonkers. He's in tech sales, optimistic, funny, motivated. I want to chase greatness. I want to be one of the best players to ever play the game. All right, Adrian. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to play Survivor. I want to give my friends and family something, a reason to gather around weekly, make my friends and family, the entire country of Albania proud. Being the first Albanian descent player to ever play the game means a lot to me. My entire upbringing has prepared me for the game, being the oldest of two in an Albanian immigrant household. Parents were working 2 jobs. Having that much responsibility at such an age motivated me to make sure my parents' sacrifices weren't for nothing. Identifies most with David Wright. He's the epitome of perseverance. Never gave up, went from 0 to hero. Went from someone anxious to being the player of the season. Hope to play like JT. Okay. He's an actual fan here, guys. I want to be a complete player socially, strategically, and physically. I want people to know me for being a great person, having great allies supporting me, but also as someone who isn't scared. Not somebody I would have suspected was like feeling confident physically. Not to say that he isn't looking like fit enough. I think from the Rizgod name, I expected more of a nerdy personality. Alliance partner, someone who is honest, loyal, predictable. Yes. Favorite hobbies, traveling, visiting new sporting venues, playing basketball, spending time with friends and family, suffering from being a New York sports fan. He knows the entire soundtrack to all of the High School Musical and Camp Rock movies. I'm sorry, Rizzo. I feel like I could have told you that from looking at you. Not in a bad way, just it's not that surprising. Who's your biggest inspiration and why? Aside from my parents, has to be John Cena. Growing up, the 3 constants were Survivor, sports, and wrestling. He's the definition of never give up, no matter how hard life got. Listen, it's appropriate. Peacemaker's airing tonight now. As a kid, seeing him defy the odds motivated me to do the same, helped instill hustle, loyalty, respect. Why will he be the sole survivor? Survivor takes emotional intelligence, patience, social skills, ton of luck. Luckily for me, I think I have all those qualities, especially the lucky part. Interesting. I'm adaptable, but most importantly, I'm fun to be around. If the new era has shown me anything, it's the social game prevails over all. Interesting. Sorry, I just got entranced with Sage's eyes. All right, pet peeves. In the real world, people who say they're going to do something, then don't. Okay. As a fan of Survivor, people who make emotional or illogical decisions. All right, so he gave us a real world and a Survivor world. And both were people whose. And neither of them are very good pet peeves. I am severely disappointed. Severely. I was really hoping that the Rizgod, was going to shower us with some solid pet peeves. And this is just, it's not even better than Swifties. I mean, people who say they're going to do something then don't. Way too generic. Not nearly pet peeve enough. On Survivor, people who make emotional or illogical decisions. That's like most people. Is it better than Jake? It's not. Jake isn't doing people who. I do think it's better than Jeremiah, though. I'll give him that. Rizzo. Emotional people. It's not exactly accurate to what it is, but I'll remember. Okay. All right. Let's listen to Rizzo.
To normal people, I'd say, my name's Rizzo. But to all my friends and family, I like to go by the man, the myth, the legend, R-I-Z-G-O-D, Riz God, baby.
Riz God, baby.
Both of my parents originated from Albania and immigrated to the States. They're both blue-collar workers, and I still proudly live at home with my parents, trying to help support them. My brother was diagnosed with autism at a very young age, so he kind of had life rough, didn't really have many friends, so I was his best friend, which is a badge of honor I take proudly. I want to come here and be the best. Like, I want to be on that Mount Rushmore. I want people to watch this season and say, wow, that Riz God kid left an impact on Survivor. Like, I want people to know that they can dream big, and when they dream big, their dreams do come true, because look at me. I always said I wanted to be on Survivor, and here we are 15 so years later from when I first saw the show. I'm here on the beaches of Fiji.
15 years? He's how old? 25. He was 10. All right. I appreciate his passion. Who's next? Sage. 30 years old, from Washington. Clinical social worker. Okay. Intentional, curious, wacky. Why do you want to be part of Survivor? I don't have a philosophical answer for you. Quite simply put, YOLO. What prepared you? Depends on the facet of the game you're referring to. Physically, the military. Emotionally, the trauma. Socially, neurodivergence. Mentally, social work. Okay, that was interesting. Previous player identifies with most Marianne. People often mistake me as an optimist because of my upbeat energy and quirkiness. Like Marianne, that causes people to assume I'm naive and fragile. Also like Marianne, I don't feel the need to prove these people wrong. Rather, I like to play the long game. Time always tells. Meanwhile, I invest my energy into people who actually want to get to know me. I hope to play like Marianne, lead with my spirit, not my ego. Can I talk about for a moment how strange it must be in general to be on television, but also to be one of these former players? Let's say I am Marianne and I'm reading this bio. It's like Marianne, this causes people to assume I'm naive and fragile. And I'm like, whoa. Whoa, I never said that. What do you mean people assume I'm naive and fragile? Like Marianne, I lead with my spirit, not my ego. My spirit? What do you mean? Just like people who just like assume things of you. Not to say that she is wrong necessarily. It just must be so funny to read these things. I think I'm like this person. Like if somebody was like, I think I'm like Taran because he, you know, I don't know. I don't know what people would say. But it must be strange. Someone who can find humor, especially in the, let's call them sooty moments. I don't have hobbies per se. Hopefully I spelled that correctly. I love this. I love this. But in general, I like trying new things. I'll usually hyperfixate on a game. Used to be Among Us, now it's Codenames. Okay, future Goose Blood on the Clock Tower player. Why are Kelly and Riley hugging again? What's something you never know from looking at you? That I was in the military and I have a twin. I mean, certainly could have never guessed she had a twin because that's unguessable. Yeah, I don't think I would have guessed that she was in the military. I wasn't like that surprised when I heard it, but fair enough. Who is your biggest inspiration and why? Oh, geez, that's a big question. At the risk of sounding like a total cornball, I'm constantly finding myself inspired by the people around me. I have to shout out my partner, though. The relationship we built together is a constant source of inspiration. He made me feel safe enough to find myself again. Most special gift anyone has ever given me. Sorry. Anyone has ever give me. I'm annoyingly persistent. Interesting bio. Okay. Pet peeves. Numbered. Ooh, I like numbered. Very broadly speaking, the patriarchy. I'm already on board. Here's why. Number one, it's numbered. Number two, she called out that it's broad and thus understands that it's funny to say something like the patriarchy. She's not actually like genuinely trying to be like, well, my pet peeve is people who are men who act like they're better. Like, no. The patriarchy. Number two, people who instantly roll their eyes at me saying the patriarchy. Okay. She does have a people who, but we've got a theme going, which I'm into. Number three, people who don't put away their shopping carts. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, her and Alex. Alliance? Hmm? Okay, these are some good pet peeves. She does people who a couple times. Is it better than leaf blowers? Yes. Is it better than crunchy peanut butter? Hold on. What are your pet peeves? What are your pet peeves? Oh. Oh. Are your pet peeves when I'm streaming and you don't get to lay in my legs? Because for some reason you don't like sitting on my lap when I'm in an office chair? All right, Kelly, we have to make a choice. Crunchy peanut butter or the patriarchy? I feel like even just saying it out loud, the choice is made for us. Don't you think? So the next question is texting shorthand or the patriarchy? What do you think? She does say people who. That does take her down a notch. And I will also say her shopping cart pet peeve, not quite as good as Alex's. Alex's was slightly more specific. It also didn't fit the theme. Vince just asked Morgan if she would still be friends with him.
I don't know, because I just didn't. For one, you were way better for my game than Zach. I already knew that, which is why I had already told you.
Right.
Like,
What does he think she's gonna say? This is the guy. I've been thinking about how Derek changed his mind about evicting Zach because Zach was so loyal to him. And how smart actual masterminds will do that. They keep the people that are loyal to them because they know that they can work them. And now I'm imagining Derek breaking down in tears before evicting, like, Caleb, being like, Caleb, will you be friends with me even if I evict you? And yeah, that's the thing. Like, the Blockbuster exists. Like, what are you doing? You apologize after, bro. Like, what do you think is happening here? She says no, and then what? And then what? You then don't evict her? What are we doing? Look at the kittens, Kelly. Look at the kittens. Hold on, I gotta switch to no headphones. All right, that might be it for the feeds then, because they are on pets again. All right, where were we? We were talking about where Sage fits. I think she's number 2. Patriarchy.
One of the ways I think people would consider me wacky is the fact that I collect pimples in a jar, very specifically blackheads. I actually grew up in a small country town in North Carolina. Neither of my parents are from North Carolina. My dad's from California, my mom's from Jersey, so kind of stuck out like a sore thumb just naturally. In the South, if you're a woman, you stay in this lane. If you're a dude, you stay in this lane. And I didn't really fit in either lane. I joined the military straight out of high school and then deployed to Afghanistan shortly after. One thing that the military did teach me is embrace the suck.
I keep
so when
thinking
things
about
are
it.
extra sucky, I'm extra happy. I've been told a lot that when they first see me, they think I'm gonna be the B word. And I think it's just because I have an unfortunate resting face, also a lot of Botox in my forehead. And then they get to know me and they're like, you're kind of weird. And I'm like, I know, you just gotta get to know me. I'm very annoyingly persistent, and once I set my mind to something, I don't give up. And I've already set my mind to winning $1 million, so I feel pretty confident that I'm gonna find a way to make it happen.
I'm sorry, I barely heard anything she said after the first sentence. I need to get that out of my brain. Sophie. Sophie is next. Did I skip Sophie? No, that's Savannah. Here's Sophie. 27 years old from Miami. Entrepreneur. Spicy, thoughtful, relentless. Just like D, Survivor is a symbol of my American dream. Leaving the Miami bubble helped prep her. It was a culture shock. She doesn't want to sound naive, but she wants to play her own game, inspired by Natalie, Suri, and Genevieve. Strategic and ruthless, but very strong emotional connections. Want someone who will be real with her when I'm being too much. Ooh. Ooh. Always look out for people who call themselves too much. Running, salsa dancing, pickleball, watching Real Housewives. Seen every Real Housewife and Marvel movie. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Who was it? Nate? That's an in. Inspiration, grandma. You'll be Soul Survivor because she can split emotion from game. Not coming in with muscles, athletic background, but knows how to talk. Well, luckily for... Wait. Oh, crap. Did I just get catfished? No, I chose the right one. Woo! You have to be loyal to yourself. Okay. Pet peeves. We're numbered again. Here we go. Number 1, men with Peter Pan syndrome. Get off the dating apps and stop terrorizing my beautiful single friends. Hold on. She said Peter Pan syndrome, and I went, I wonder what that is. Oh, it's probably like being a child too much. But then she said, get off the dating apps. And I gotta say, that's not what I associate Peter Pan with. Oh, classic Peter Pan, that dog. Always hounding Wendy. we really gotta take the phone from that guy, Peter Pan. He just will not stop with those dating apps. And he's always like in his profile picture, he's like hovering above the ground. Like, we get it, you can fly. Okay. All right, let's see if there's an official definition that we can verify here. Why is this constant, like, does this ever actually work for anyone? Peter Pan syndrome, pop psychology term used to describe an adult who is socially immature. It refers to never growing adults who have reached adult age but cannot face their adult sensations. I feel like this is like Disney adults, which tracks because Peter Pan, you know, is kind of is Disney, you know? Immaturity, reluctance to grow up, difficulties in social professional work relationships. All right, hold on. Dating. Nope, no dating apps. Relationships. Signs in relationships. May have difficulties maintaining healthy romantic relationships. Struggling to express their emotions. Place an unfair burden on their partner. Issues maintaining long-term relationships? Still, I feel like this doesn't quite track. Number 2, people who don't return their shopping carts? You're kidding me. That's wild. That's actually wild. Unfortunately, if you have repeat pet peeves, it lowers the overall value of said pet peeves. Sage is clinging to that number too because crunchy peanut butter is starting to look nice and fresh now. And untoasted bagels is starting to look better than shopping carts left in the aisle. But she was surrounded by a lot of bad ones. Men with Peter Pan syndrome, get off the dating apps and stop terrorizing my beautiful single friends. I just need more details. You know what I mean? I just need more details. I feel like I could be so on board with that, but then instead of more details, you gave me number 2 people who don't return their shopping carts, and that is just not original enough on this cast. It's gotta be below untoasted bagels, but it is above bullies or whack. Sophie. Peter Pan. We're gonna have to revisit Sage and Jawan though. As shopping carts diminishes. All right, let's hear.
I want to do is have a dominating alliance. And I'm going to start by picking the biggest guy or the biggest girl in my group and having them be my meat shield.
Meat shield.
I was born and raised in Miami. My parents grew up in Venezuela and Cuba, and they immigrated to America to find the American dream. And so
There's
I'm a
an echo.
product of that.
It's too
I've been
loud.
working since I was 13 years old, and from all the jobs that I've had, I realized I don't like to work for people. And so I got my master's degree in business. So now I own 3 businesses, and I have 10 employees. They're all men. They're all older than me. So I know how to deal with putting people in their place. I want people to look at me and think, there's no way that this girl's coming for me. And if she is, I'm not worried about it.
Is there
and
still an
that's
echo?
when I'll strike hot, and they're out of this game. I started watching Survivor when I was 7 years old. My grandmother was actually the biggest fan of Survivor, which is funny because she was a Cuban immigrant who didn't speak a lick of English. But Survivor taught her how. We watched the show together, and she thought Jeff was the hottest guy on the planet. When I would tell her that I wanted to play this game, I would tell her, Lita, I'm gonna bring home the million. And she's like, don't worry about the money, just bring home Jeff.
All right, okay. Who's next? Shannon. Shannon Fairweather. 28 years old from Boston. Wellness specialist. Okay. We're already on strange terms here. 3 words to describe you. Free. Passionate. I make things happen. Faithful. Spunky. Confident. In love with life. I mean, excuse me? That is so many more than 3 words. Some of your words are more than 3 words on their own. All right. Been watching since she was 8. Love a good adventure, pressure cooker. Oh, I can put headphones back in anyway. Unique perspective on life. I believe I have some unique perspectives on life I would love to share. Okay. What's one life experience that's prepared you? Yoga meditation practice. Growing with entrepreneurial parents. Being from Boston. Growing up with Patriot Dynasty. Identifies most with Jam Jam, Boston Rob, with the Boston grit, Marianne, Parvati. Wants somebody with a kind heart, loyalty, communication, driven. Hobbies. I run a virtual women's community and host yoga and meditation events. Her Vibes. Sorry. Called Her Vibes. Running Her Vibe. Is it Vibes or Vibe? With like-minded women. Listening to bangers. Parentheses. Great tunes. Oh boy. Bruins games with my brothers. Disney World, a good sunsets. Family owns a 4-floor sports bar that Boston Rob worked at. When I was 17, doctors found cancer in my bladder. Did not have to do chemo. Used to be on antidepressants before I found my love for travel, meditation, and God. I remember being in the womb. Yep. God, universe, great spirit, mother nature, the divine is why I'm here. Magic is real. I'm constantly inspired by life. I'll be the sole survivor because of who I am. All right, here we go. I have high expectations for these pet peeves. We got 4 lines. My pet peeves are when I have pet peeves. Hold on. My pet peeves are when I have pet peeves. My pet peeves, plural, are when I have pet peeves. I mean, that seems devastating. That seems like an inescapable loop. All right. I am working on loving myself and others for who they are unconditionally. But snoring, negativity, and being able to hear muffled TV when trying to sleep has been known to annoy me. Working on it. Okay. So, for sure, her and her boyfriend have had an argument about him watching TV while she's trying to sleep, right? Like, for sure. Honestly, the best one here is my pet peeves or when I have pet peeves. It just doesn't really make sense. I think I get what she's trying to say, but it's almost like she does, like she's trying to remove herself from the whole concept. This is like the pet peeve equivalent of remembering being in the womb. It just doesn't work that way. Also, pet peeves are not things that happen to you. They are things that exist in you. It's not like I think what she's trying to say is that, like, in the moment when she's trying to sleep and hears muffled TV, she's annoyed that she's annoyed. But what she's actually saying is she's annoyed that annoyances exist. No, she's annoyed that she gets annoyed generally at things. No, she's annoyed that she has things that annoy her. Yes. All right, Shannon. I would say this is below bullies or whack. Because pet peeves are great. And she shouldn't be pet peeved by them.
I'm like this hippie, spiritual, love the energy of the moon, love the energy of the earth. I'm also a Virgo, if that means anything to anyone. My parents own a sports bar, and way back when, one of our bartenders decided to go on a little show called Survivor, and that bartender ended up being Boston Rob. So Survivor has been like
Way back when, you were like 3 years old, no?
stalking me my whole life. I'm the oldest of 3, and I'm the only daughter. So I've always had a little boss energy. Okay, a lot of boss energy. My parents always said, Shannon, the world doesn't revolve around you.
That's true,
And then
she
I
remembers
realized, like,
everything.
That actually does. I create my own reality. So I'm this mix of like the classic Donnie Wahlberg, Mark Wahlberg, Bostonian guy with like a Stevie Nicks, Ram Dass essence to me as well.
Are
I
we
think
really
you bring the two
aspiring to
together,
be a
you get this
Wahlberg?
really divine, really wonderful combination of a masculine and feminine energy that has gotten me here to
I wouldn't
Survivor.
exactly call the Wahlbergs divine. All right, who's next? It is Savannah. Okay, here we go. Savannah, 31, from Atlanta, a former reporter. Oh, yeah, I remember doing research on Savannah. Adventurous, no nonsense, and curious. Okay, all right. Another one of these. Easiest million she'll ever make. She's been a huge fan of the show since season 1. She is 31 years old. That is 2 years younger than me, which means she would have been 6 when season 1 aired. It has brought me so much joy and created a community for me amongst family and friends. Ridiculously cool to be something part of this adrenaline junkie. Okay. Through my work as a journalist, I became an expert at connecting with others, building trust. Huge part of my job is getting people to trust me with some of the most intimate details of their lives. Fair enough. I identify most, or I'm going to embody Kim Spradlin and D. Trust is the core of successful alliance. Yes. Favorite hobbies: yoga, Pilates, hiking. I'm a big solo traveler. She does not look like she would not be a solo. That is not surprising at all. That is not something I would never know from looking at her. Just lots of explanation about that. Biggest inspiration: my parents. Successful business. She's under the radar physical threat with a social game that will get her to the end. Okay, honestly, pretty generic bio. I liked up here. I liked this bit. And kind of this bit, but the rest was fairly generic. All right, pet peeves. When people who have the middle seat on a plane pressure you to trade your window aisle seat. Yes. Yes. Solid. Not people who, but when people. And that is very annoying. Middle management. Fair. And constantly being late. This is good. She has a good specific one. She has a good generic one. And then she has a pretty common one. But at least she says consistently being late and not people who are late. Which is nice. Okay. I'm going to say that's better than Peter Pan. I'm going to say it's better than untoasted bagels because of the negatives that came along with that one. I'm going to say it's better than shopping carts because shopping carts has been devalued. Is it better than leaf blowers and biscuit cans? I'm going to have to say no. I think biscuit cans are more fun. Savannah. Middle seat pressures. Middle seat pressure. Did I see Steven's tweet about me / my book? No. Oh, he got it. Look how scholarly it looks to be watching, to be reading my book. Okay. Let's watch Savannah.
I know that I probably come across as someone who doesn't like the outdoors, who doesn't like to get dirty, but honestly, for $1 million, I've done a hell of a lot worse for a hell of a lot less.
I'd say so. Does she? I feel like she looks like just a normal person who might very well be a person who goes outside. I don't know.
I was a happy surprise for my parents. They were young and they weren't necessarily prepared to have me. So when I was born, they were on welfare, but they worked their butts off to give my brother and myself like literally any opportunity we ever wanted. I wanted to make a positive impact in the world, and I thought that my best way of doing that was to become a journalist. And after about 10 years, I was very burnt out, and I decided, let's leave that chapter behind. So right now, I'm actually working as a marketing specialist for my parents' company. My parents still helping me out. I'm 31 years old. Have a strategy going in.
Started working for her parents.
Stressful of a situation as possible, even for my allies. So I'm gonna sow like seeds of paranoia. I'm not afraid to take someone's jacket in the middle of the night and maybe misplace it. And I'll have the shoulder to cry on when they're ready to talk to their daughter or their best friend or their confidant.
A jacket thief. Interesting. Interesting. All right, next, Steven. 35 years old, from Denver, rocket scientist. Optimistic, outgoing, empathetic. Is here for discovery as an aspiring lunar landowner. As in, like, somebody that buys a plot of land on the moon? Or no, as somebody that lives on the moon? Anyway. It's a journey into the unknown, adventure of a lifetime, ultimate test of character. Grew up with hearing loss, undiagnosed until early 20s. Had to concentrate extra hard on what people were saying. Identifies with Rupert's ability to be unabashedly himself and Tyson's sense of humor. Play most like Charlie from season 46. Wants somebody who has an unwavering ability to tolerate his arsenal of bad jokes. Likes making music, competitive dodgeball, snowboarding, horror movies, shouting at the moon to assert dominance, and vibing with my golden retriever, Rupert. When I'm not working on technologies to pioneer the frontiers of the moon and Mars, I'm hustling as a musician. Like spicy foods. This surprises people since I look like someone who prefers saltine crackers and a glass of milk. I guess so. I mean, liking spicy foods is not exactly like a defining characteristic, but okay. 99-year-old grandpa survived the Battle of Iwo Jima. I bring a unique blend of left and right brain skills. Will allow me to connect with people on both sides of the brain spectrum. It's a very strange way to say that. All right, pet peeves. Close-minded people. No. Open mouth chewers. Story one-uppers. And moon landing deniers. Okay. This was almost one of the worst ones. He clawed it back a little bit with moon landing deniers. It's obviously personal for that guy, the rocket scientist. But all of these other, like literally all three of these, I've seen about 15 times in Survivor Bio Pet Peeves. No good. Moon landing deniers, we got something. And you could feel that is an actual pet peeve of his because he likes the moon and he sciences rockets. However, I don't know if it's enough to claw him back from an overall pretty bad pet peeve spectrum here. It's definitely not better than untoasted bagels. It's definitely not better than Peter Pan. Is it better than bullies or whack? Not really. Is it better than pet peeves? Yes. Moon landing deniers.
Survivor is like a deep space exploration mission, except instead of a bunch of highly trained astronauts, you have 18 rascals that are conspiring to jettison each other outside of the airlock. I grew up in Denver, Colorado. I was kind of a nerd growing up. I am currently an aerospace engineer, and I work with NASA on tons of different studies, trying to get humans to go to the moon and Mars and beyond. On the side, I'm a musician, and I've been making music for my entire life.
Survivor watch party, let's go!
I have a dog. His name's Rupert, after Rupert from the Pearl Islands. I just fell in love with Rupert during COVID, and Rupert's season was the first one I watched. I have a beautiful girlfriend.
Fan.
She's the one that encouraged me to stop talking about applying. Every time Jeff is there, like, just apply. I'd be like, I could win this game. I could play this game. She's like, then do it.
Okay. Who's next? Sophie. I think she's the last one. This is the other Sophie. 31 years old, from New York, a strategy associate. Loud, funny, competitive. I've wanted to go on Survivor since I watched All Stars when I was 9. A lifelong fan. I thought playing Survivor would be a blast. Business school has prepared her for the game. I wonder if she got really good grades. Previous player she identifies with most. Rachel, my archangel of alternates. Oh. Me, also an alternate. Okay. Values honesty and an alliance partner. Favorite hobbies, surfing, going to concerts, the gym, trying new restaurants, reality TV. What's something you would never know from looking at me? I play the violin and I am very handy. I'm in the orchestra at work. And handiness, I have a full toolbox and love building / fixing things. Fair enough. Biggest inspiration why? My mom. She raised 4 kids while getting her PhD, so she could be a professor while practicing physical therapy. You're never too old to try something new and succeed at it. I have a hack for bringing people together. Pet peeves. Slow walkers. Always a classic. It's not people who, but it's close. Oh. Restaurants that make you wait for your whole party to sit. Is that a problem? Shouldn't you have to wait for your... Well, it depends. Is it a busy restaurant? If it's not a busy restaurant, then yeah, that's obnoxious. But if it's like a packed restaurant, we can't be holding a table waiting for somebody to show up. Well, boy, thank you for the subscription. Welcome to Robot Army. But the table is right there. But what if your people never show up and they have to give the table to someone else? Oh, listen, if you have a reservation, yeah, that's a whole other story. You have a reservation, you get the table. I don't care how many people are there. I feel like there's a lot of details that are important to this pet peeve. Slow walkers is always good, but it is a little bit generic here. Needing the whole party. I want more specifics about that. Yeah, it is also like, what percentage is missing? Are we talking about like 2 of you are there of 15, or are we talking about like, you know, like 9 of you are there of 10, you know? And is the place busy? Is there a wait, you know, like all right. Is it better than untoasted bagels? I'm going to say yes, because slow walkers is always good. Is it better than shopping carts? Yes. Shopping carts is too well-trodden territory at this point. I think I'm going to place her below Savannah and Middle Sea Pressure.
Pink and orange. I couldn't pick, so I was like, why not both? If these go far, then I'm giving everybody my manicurist's name. I live in New York City, went to business school, and I've been in corporate America since I graduated undergrad. I'm in these New York City streets dating, which is sometimes great, sometimes so much fun, like you never know who you're gonna meet out. And then sometimes it's like you're getting ghosted and you wanna like text one of those boys like, how dare you do this to me? I grew up outside of DC.
I wonder if she'll get along with the other Sophie.
I've been watching Survivor with my family since
And they
elementary
can talk
school.
about Peter
I remember
Pans.
watching Rob and Amber canoodling on
More
screen,
Rob
and my
fans.
mom being like, I can't believe they're showing this on TV. And then I think it spurred her to like giving like the birds and the bees talk with me. We do like a family survivor competition every Christmas, and I am not allowed to participate anymore because now I've gone pro.
All right. Final thing we need to do. We need to reevaluate Sage's patriarchy plus shopping cart. Let's remind ourselves. Let's refresh for Juwan. Crunchy peanut butter. If you eat that around me, we can't be friends. People who talk loudly in a movie theater. I forgot he also had a solid one in people who talk loudly in a movie theater. It is a people who, which is not great. But Sage is also a people who. Yep. And she's just not original with the shopping carts. I think we have to demote her below Joanne. Crunchy peanut butter becomes number 2. But number 1 remains at the top. Sir Matt's listening to someone incorporate texting shorthand into a verbal conversation. OMG, LOL. It's perfectly crotchety. It's exactly what I would expect from this man in a good way. And it's not people who. That's important as well. All right. Overall, I'm going to say fairly weak pet peeve cast, but I think better than last year. I think from about Alex and shopping carts on, Alex, Sophie, Savannah, Annie, Sage, Juwan, Matt, I think they're all fairly solid, but most of the people below them, a bit meh at best. We can look at the hot takes. Alex's hot take. Of course, it's more margarita curse. Don't make me demote your shopping cart, dude. I see TikToks about it. If I have to have a whole segment about the margarita curse from Alex, I'm not going to be happy. All right, Annie's hot take. What is she even saying? I don't see any hot takes yet. She's just talking about things. What? If I were more of a super fan, I think I could come up with something pretty cool, which is why now that I'm on the show, I'm going to go back and watch it all and go, see. There's always a super fan building a puzzle. It could be a different... I don't think she's even saying a hot take. Oh, she hated the summit. That's a hot take. Not really. All right. How about Jason? Give us something good here. My hot take is that advantages that include block a vote, steal a vote, extra vote are stronger than idols. There's an aura of threat around the idol. I will argue that the perfectly hidden, nobody knows about idol is still quite strong. I think that steal a vote is still stronger than that. All right. He gets points for this being, I think, a genuine hot take. But then I take points away for, I think, it being a wrong take. It's a narrow line to walk, the hot takes. Because it's hard to be hot without being wrong. But it is possible. All right, second hot take. Might be hotter. The age of the survivor resume is over and should be buried deep into the ground. We are not looking for people with the best stats. You can pull off amazing blindsides, but my criteria is how much control and how much awareness did you have over your own story? What brought you here? This is a bit of a mess of a hot take, in my opinion. Because number one, being annoyed with the resume talk is not a hot take. That's a pretty cold take. Number two, he's saying the solution to this is that he thinks that, like, it's important to know the game that you played. That is the important, but that is that not just also a resume? Like, well, that's just a different way of saying have a good resume. Know your own story is like create your own resume instead of like is tell your story in a good resume like fashion. I don't know. I what he's saying is don't put points, don't tick off points on a chart, right? Which makes some amount of sense, but like you still have to be able to tell your story, and when you tell your story, you're going to list points that you think are good, right? All right. So far, the best hot take is still Jason. Jawan's hot take. I'm on Reddit a lot. I see players like Say and Rome get a lot of heat. Oftentimes they get on my nerves too. I wouldn't want to play with them, but I do think that's what makes Survivor beautiful in a way. We need people that are from different backgrounds that are aggressive. So as much as they might get on my nerves, they need to be on Survivor. We wouldn't be on for 50 seasons if we didn't have people like that. Now watch it. I just like this guy. I just feel like I would get along well with Jawan. I feel like I could be buds with Jawan. I feel like we just get each other. How would you deal with a rogue element like that? You read my mind. I still don't know. I wish I could give you an answer. I could go back and forth between wanting to use them as a shield, but at what point if they're going to be actively targeting me? I like this. I think this is a genuine hot take while also being a correct take. Easily the best one so far. Jeremiah, I love season 2. That's what brought me into Survivor. And season 2 has been full of controversial characters, so we'll leave it at that. But the beef jerky with Jerry is so classic. That is so iconic. Jeremiah, are you trying to tell me? Jeremiah, you had the worst pet peeve. And you are now telling me that your hot take is that you love season 2. The most watched season of the show? Extremely beloved? Sir. Christina's hot take. Sandra, I love you so much. I really do. I promise. Oh, I thought she was going to say I love Sandra was her hot take. But apparently it's not. Now we're getting hot. But I don't know if she should have won her first season. A Johnny Fairplay fan? Another Rupert fan? Back then, a lot more things that went on. Back then, a lot more things that went on then that are acceptable now weren't then, and that's why she won. Things were acceptable. But, like, I don't know that she should have gotten that first one. Is this Mike asking, should Lil have won? She played her game. She really did play her game, and it wasn't her fault that she had to be in that outfit. That's funny. That's funny. I like Christy. That was a funny take. I'm still a little bit confused as to what she's saying, like who she actually thinks should have won and why she thinks that Sandra. Things went on then that are acceptable now. Like, did Sandra do something that was acceptable now that wasn't acceptable then? Or is she saying that Johnny Fairplay did something? I don't know. I don't know what she's saying, but it's funny. Matt, all right, our top pet peever. We'll throw a real historic one that we can walk away from. I liked Russell. I did. I thought, you know what? He deserved to win the game. So what if he was a villain? He deserved to win the game. But there's a definite polarization on there on if you like Russell or not, but he's yesterday's news at this point. I wouldn't say that's a hot take as much as it is an uninformed one. But he seems to recognize that, which could turn it back into a hot take if he can defend it well, but I'm not seeing much defense. One move that I liked, and I don't think he got any credit for, and I think he got a bad rap, was when Chris completely stole the entire season from Devins. That was Devins' season. Devins was absolutely going to win that season, and then some guy who got voted out third and spent his entire season on Exile Island or Redemption Island or whichever one it was, comes back in, does everything right for about a minute and a half, and then he steals the season because he put himself in the fire making. The fire making was still relatively new at that point, but nobody had thought to do that. Yeah, they had. Yeah, they had. It was at that point just a bat. Not really. They had talked about it. And he said, the only reason I'm going to... Okay. But I think you've got a group of people who don't like fire making, which I disagree with. I love it. Okay, that's a hot take. That's literally fire hot. I think it needs to stay. And then you've got a group of people who thought Chris was basically absent the entire season, doesn't deserve to win, which I disagree with. He won, he did what he had to do, and I say it was a brilliant move. And people say that sucked, that was stupid, it ruined the season. Good for Chris. I feel bad for Devins because I love Devins. Bad takes, Matt. Bad takes. MC, I know a lot of people disagree on this one, but I think the new era is better than the old era. That's a hot take. That's a hot take. Let's see what the defense is. I know it's going to have people up in arms. I see the comments. Y'all are the people who just don't like change. They want things like, we're stuck in the old times. I love the new era. The new era is what got me into Survivor. Okay. I was on board for this. I was. I think new era is sometimes overhated. I was ready for a good hot take here, but I am sorry. Not allowed to have this take if you didn't watch the old era at the time. Just not allowed. You can't come in on the new era and then say, hey guys, new era is better than old era. Yeah, you weren't here for it. What do you mean? Nah. It's much faster, more interesting to watch. Let us be hungry. I have no issue with it. Okay. She had me at first, but then she lost me. Nate, hot take. I hate the Final Four fire advantage. It's a good take, but it's ice cold. Yeah. Nicole. Oh my God, I have so many. I love Juicy Tribal Council where people are complaining and yelling at each other, asking hard questions. I love that. I miss that because I feel like now it's kumbaya, which I'm totally about. The world has changed. We need to change with it. I'm totally a symbol of that. Look at me. But I want hard, gross questions. I want people yelling. Okay, good take. Is it hot? I'd say it's warm. I'd say that's a warm take, and it's a good take. Am I prepared? Are you prepared to step into the arena yourself? I mean, ideally, I'm in sitting in the final three. I'm the one ducking, duking, whatever. The thing that Russell Hantz will never understand is that you need the jury to vote for you. My hot take is this concept of X or Y should have won. That is not a thing. The Kenzie Charlie thing, for example. Charlie should have won. That doesn't make sense. If Charlie should have won, he would have won. They voted Kenzie. Maria, she voted Kenzie because Kenzie in that moment convinced her enough, and Charlie in that moment screwed her over so hard, and in a way that was not productive for him. That concept doesn't make sense, any sense. And I am not going to be someone where, let's say I get shafted of the winner for whatever reason. I'm not going to say, well, I should have won X. Should have won because that doesn't make it. That's my hot take. No. Bad take. Bad take. It's not particularly hot, and it's also bad. This is a kind of take. You see this a lot, especially on Survivor, because Survivor has an edit. You don't see the live feeds. So it's a lot easier to like imagine things are the direct result of other things. On Big Brother, we know the truth, right? Like something can happen and it has absolutely nothing to do with what another person did. Like, Zach didn't use his veto, not because he was convinced or tricked into it. It's just because he's a dummy and didn't use the veto. You know what I mean? Like, he talked himself into that. Nobody knew that he had the veto. Nobody actively worked on him to not use the veto because nobody knew didn't have one, or nobody knew he had one. Sometimes things just happen. It is not necessarily a direct result of another thing. So Kenzie did not necessarily in that moment convince her enough. That is not exactly what happened here. People have their own agency. And sometimes people just decide, regardless of who the other person is, that person could be a bottle of ketchup. And they would still vote for the bottle of ketchup. And that doesn't mean necessarily that like the person that they're voting against did anything wrong either. We know this. This is not a tough concept. We see this all the time on Big Brother, and it's harder to catch on Survivor, but we see it all the time on Big Brother. Why does Kelly hate Rachel? Why will Kelly never vote for Rachel in a final two? She just didn't come in feeling that way. Why did people not like Taylor coming in? Was that Taylor's fault? Did Taylor do something wrong to not earn the jury votes that she might not have gotten at that point from those people? If Daniel Durston had been on the jury, would we have said, well, Taylor didn't do enough to get his vote? You know? It's her fault. There is no should have. There is no could have. Like, that's my issue with this take. All right, Rizzo. 2, this isn't a hot take. Maybe for production it's a hot take. But I think they need to bring touchy subjects back. The majority alliance can kind of game it, but figure out a way behind it. Don't have the drama be manufactured through advantages and idols. Have the drama be manufactured within the people. He really likes touchy subjects. Is that a hot take? He's kind of right. It's not a super hot take. But I appreciate the acknowledgement that maybe it's more of a hot take for production. I think my hot take, and I think this is a hot take now, because of the winners that we've recently gotten, and when I was bored too, I was ulging through all the winner lists. And I was like, all right, what would I classify? Oh, IGing? Like Instagramming? I don't know. All right, what would I classify this winner as in terms of social, strategic, physical? Is this a physical winner, social winner, strategic winner? I think 5 out of the 7 I had are all social players. And I think the new era kind of favors social players that are really good at one-on-one interpersonal relationships. He does continue, but I want to stop down here for a moment. I think this is fair. But what I will say is, it's not usually that simple, right? You know, social, strategic, physical. Most people are not one of those things. And if you're watching Survivor, it's maybe difficult to even fully comprehend how much of any one of those things people are. But we'll accept it as a premise for a hotter take here. So I think my hot take is that the best player doesn't always win the season. And the reason why I say it's kind of a hot take is I think a lot of the fandom, whether it's Survivor Twitter or Survivor Reddit, they always say whoever got the jury votes in the end deserves to win. And I agree, if you're in the end and you get the jurors to vote for you, you 100% deserve the win. But I don't think that crowns you the best player. He really loves David Wright. Omer, Jesse, the list goes on. And I think that's not a bad thing. You don't have to be the best player to win the season. But I think a lot of people online say, oh, if you won the season, you're the best player. And I don't think that's true. I agree with that take. I don't know what it has to do with social players winning. And I would say the take is warm. Because I do think that, as we just saw, there is certainly a perspective that is the opposite of that. But this person also thinks that it's a hot take to say the opposite. And he thinks it's a hot take to say this. So I think it's actually a bit mixed. I am pretty firmly on the side of course, the best player doesn't always win. it would quite frankly be ridiculous to say otherwise. But it also depends on how you define best player. If you define best player as the player that wins, then yes, the best player won, but that logic is circular, so it's kind of pointless to say. Either way, it's fair. Sage, it's funny because you always ask this, and I'm like, I don't know if I have any. And then it came to me the other night in my tent. I was thinking about it, totally unrelated to this, and I was like, wait, that might be a hot take. I don't know if it is. You'll have to tell me. Okay, here we go. You know how people are like, I want to play an honest game and a game with integrity? I don't think that's possible. If your strategy going in is to play an honest game, that is inherently manipulative because you think that playing an honest game with integrity is going to win you $1 million. So it's strategic in itself. Whoo! We are cooking. Not saying that it's fully dishonest. Again, nuance, people. There's so much gray, but I would say that maybe that would maybe be a hot take. And a common one. What? What? And a common one. Thomas said it. Somebody help me here. What is happening? I don't know why people are so open arms about 26 days. It's not the only change. They completely forget about the other changes that sort of balance it out. Who is Thomas? Even if you remove the I, who is Thomas? Oh, from last season. Okay, okay. This is a great take. I think that 26 days is pretty hot, but I think it's also a pretty good take. And I don't know that I want to play with an honest game. I don't know that it's a hot take to like be annoyed by that. But I do think, like I say this all the time. Of course it's inherently manipulative. I love that. So let's see. Let's compare it to Jawan's. Who? I think Jawan's take is hotter. But I think that Sage's take is more insightful. But this is a hot takeoff. So I think Jawan still takes it. Shannon, what's so funny? Sage and Jawan back at it again. They keep facing off in my battles of how I decide to judge people. Shannon, I don't think the show has potential to be the greatest show on television. I think the show has the greatest potential to be the greatest show on television. I really do, from the aspect of the fact that it's real spiritual. Okay. I think the show, I'm a huge fan in every aspect. I think lighting wise, I think the way they do the shots, artistry, it's an incredible show. I don't care to be super well known for Big Brother. Like, oh, I'm going on The Bachelor, even though I'm so in love. Her hot take is that she's on the show Survivor and she thinks it's a great show. Sophie, I mean, I don't know how hot this is, but I think whoever wins deserves it. I think there's a conversation about that. Listen, she's making Rizzo's hot take hotter. Sophie, the Flint. Why are we taking away Flint from the losers? Why are we handicapping the losers? Makes no sense to me. Everything I've read about it, and we see it, starts a cycle where you're not eating, and then you're not performing well. Why are we handicapping the losers? Or sorry, what other sport do we handicap the losers? I'm always somebody who's rooting for a good game. This is a good take. It's not a hot take. You know how you can tell it's not a hot take? Because everything she's read about it says it's the right take. Steven, I don't know how hot or lukewarm this take. You be my thermometer. Okay. But I think players should not be forced to risk their vote. I think that if you go on a journey and you are not given the choice whether or not to play, I think that sucks. That's not a hot take. It's fair, but it's not a hot take. Juwan and Sage, take this one. Rizzo, not bad. All right. That's it. We talked plenty about Survivor at this point. I'm ready. I'm ready for the draft in a month. Ready to go. I have not watched Julie do the thing yet. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
This is tonight's BB Blockbuster.
Hold on, they're gonna play music and that's gonna copyright strike me. Rolling a ball down a board. Fairly crapshooty. So we'll see. All right. That's it. I'll be back in about an hour for the episode, so stay tuned for that. And then we'll have the podcast. We'll have, all kinds of stuff. We'll have all kinds of stuff. So stay tuned. Thank you for joining me here for the Survivor Cast reactions. And I will see all of you very soon.